would you like to own your home outright? What would it feel like to never make a mortgage payment ever again? On our mortgage-free segment today, we're going to interview Janelle Page from Indiana. Janelle and her husband, Jarek, recently paid off their mortgage, and they accomplished this crazy feat in their mid-20s. We're going to find out why they did this and how they did it right now. Welcome to the show, Janelle.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm glad to have you on, and I'm really excited to learn how you guys did this. So I like to start these interviews off with the mortgage-free 3. These are some quick, short answers so that people can understand your story a little bit better. So here we go. What was your starting mortgage principal balance?
Our starting mortgage principal was $125,000.
$125,000. Awesome. Okay. So how long did it take you to pay off $125,000?
It took us right at 32 months.
Wow. Okay. Under 3 years. Wow. That is incredible. Very, very good work. All right. So now what is your home value today, 32 months later?
So when we bought the house, it was $195,000, but we've actually done some updates and added a shop and a storm shelter for safety. And so we're about $240,000 to $250,000.
So $250,000 owned outright.
Yes, sir.
Very cool. Way to go, Janelle. That's awesome. Congratulations to you and Jarek. That's some hefty work in 3 years. So let's talk about this story a little bit. Why did you want to pay off your mortgage?
So when we got married, we've never liked debt at all. We got married in 2018 in September, but actually we bought the house in March. So we knew that it was going to be a big issue for us. We'll talk about it later, but our bank wouldn't allow us to have a fixed rate. They required the adjustable rate on us, the ARM. And we weren't super comfortable with where you never know what is going to happen with the economy and our jobs and how the interest would change. So we set up a goal from then on to definitely pay it off as soon as we could. We were planning on maybe 5 years, but with all the budgeting we did, we were able to come up with 3 years. And we also knew we would want to start a family within hopefully 2 or 3 years. I would go part-time or PRN and work just that and then live off of his income alone. So all of that stuff combined together made it possible for us to really hit our goals because we were very motivated.
That is great. I love those goals. I love it's family first, and that's great. So talk to me about the ARM a little bit, because it sounds like why was that the only option? Is it because you guys didn't have a lot of credit? Is it because you were younger? How does that work?
Yes, it was our credit issue. So I had a credit card with my dad, and that was our only credit line. He had absolutely no credit, even though we had money saved down in the bank that we had $70,000 to put down. They didn't care about that at all. So we were unable to get a fixed rate. We talked about having one of our parents sign on it, and just the way we discussed it and how we had our motivation, that we said, no, we'll do this on our own. We will make the adjustable rate work. And in 3 years, if we have to do a fixed rate, and hopefully we'll have enough credit by then, but we didn't have any credit at all. So that was our major issue.
That's great. And now you own it outright, so you don't really have to worry about the whole credit thing anymore, right?
Exactly.
Very cool. So how long was the term with the ARM? Was it a 5-year ARM? Was it a 3-year ARM? How does that work?
It was a 3-year ARM. So that's why originally we said 5 years, knowing that it could only increase the 1% every year. But we said, how awesome would it be just to have it done in the 3 years and not worry about the credit, the interest change. So 3 years was our goal, and that's what we just got under that.
Very cool. So what was the rate when you got your loan?
It was 4.25%.
4.25%. Very cool. That's great. So you paid that off in 3 years, and now you're just done with it.
Yes. Another thing we were motivated by too was we looked at how much it was going to cost in interest just to pay the bank. And I do understand that people have jobs and they need paid too, but I wasn't interested in paying them a heck of a lot of money over 20, 30 years that could be used elsewhere.
I agree. Yeah, when you look at those numbers, how much you pay, let's say you get a 30-year loan, how much you pay towards the bank and interest, it just kind of is mind-boggling. It kind of makes you get really excited about, hey, well, I don't want to do that. I want to keep my money, right?
Exactly.
Very cool. So you guys said you put $70,000 down, is that right?
Yes, yes.
And how old were you when you got the house?
Let's see here. It was 2018. So I was 23. He would have
23.
been 24.
So how did you save up $70,000 at 23 years old?
So what happened was I was in grad school, and we've been dating since middle school, actually. So when I went to school, he was a year older than me. And when we got done with undergraduate, he was done in 4 years. I got my undergraduate in 3 years, so we could graduate our undergraduate together. And then I went on for my master's I'm an occupational therapist, so I had to get my master's degree. So I went on for 2 more years, and we both agreed not to get married because I would get clinicals, and I had practicums and clinicals. I actually ended up in Kentucky for 3 months away. And so we decided that it was best that we didn't get married until I was done with school. Less stress on us and as a family for starting out our marriage. And so he had 2 years of living at home and working. He worked an hour away, but got a higher pay. So he saved up a lot of that money. I will give him complete credit for that one because he made it work and worked long hours to be able to save up and have that there, and lived with his parents, so which is not a bad thing. But he saved a lot of money while we were gone, and I was gone in Kentucky. One of my OT classmates, she ended up with a practicum up here, and so she was looking for housing, and we had our house during that time. We bought it in March. She had her thing in June, July, and August. And so she moved into our house for 3 months and paid us rent, pretty much just the utilities. But it was one way for us to save. So that was a way that we were able to kind of finagle and get some extra income and make it work.
I love it. I love this super saver. This is fantastic. Well, let's talk about the process of paying it off in the 3 years. So was this just budgeted from the start that you were going to do this? Did you guys do anything during that time frame to increase your income or decrease your expenses?
So most of it was budgeted since we weren't married. We didn't have to decrease our expenses. Obviously, we increased them because we were moving out and living together and having a house. I did end up picking up a extra job, a PRN job for my work, because where I work, I'm not salary, I am hourly. So, and it depends on the load of our case. So some weeks I was only getting 25 hours. So I would pick up an extra job and work elsewhere for my therapy to be able to get some extra pay. In all honesty, our hobbies have led to a lot of savings. We love to garden. So we put up over 150 pints and quarts this past summer. So our gardening has been big for saving money. And also he hunts, well, I hunt too, but we hunt and fish and trap. Our hunting, we don't buy meat from the store except seafood because we don't have any seafood in Indiana. But we pretty much do a lot of wild game, and we raise our own chickens. We have a hobby farm. So all these things lead up to actually a lot of savings for that. And it's been great during COVID too. When the meat shelves were bare, we were fine.
That is incredible. Can you hunt on your own land, or you just do it near where you live?
Near where we live, my family has ground that we've always hunted, and his family has a little bit of ground too. So it's just a short drive that we enjoy.
That's incredible. I love how your hobbies, things you love to do, either bring in money or save you a ton of money. I think that's a great way to live.
Yes.
Very cool. So what people, are looking at these numbers and saying, okay, $125,000 in 3 years, just so they get an understanding. You guys have a general income range you could share to understand how that went?
Yeah. So once I had my job, which was right at whenever we bought the house, our gross income was about $130,000.
Awesome. So you're saving a lot of money during that with that $130,000.
Yes. We definitely did a lot of saving. The way it ended up working out was in the past year. We built that shop, which my husband built. We bought the supplies for about $25,000, and then but that increased our value to, if you build a shop like that, it's 50,000 or so. So he did a lot of the work, put a lot of the legwork into that. But we went and but then budgeting to keep the rest of it in order. It was crazy how it all worked out. He worked his job. Everything we got from his income went to our bills and or saving. And everything, every single one of my paychecks in the past year have went straight from down to the penny, went straight to the house. So that's how we did that.
All right. So Janelle, you guys made this incredible thing happen over a 3-year period of time, and now you're all done with it. Did you guys do anything to celebrate? What's different now for you guys?
Not much has changed. Since we are preparing to go down to one income for the main part. Since we are pregnant with our first baby in April.
Excellent. I love it. Congratulations.
Thank you. So we haven't changed anything, knowing that that's going to come, and we're going to have those bills, and changing into one income is a major thing. It's not huge because we've been living that.
Absolutely.
So
you've been planning for it. So you've been living on his income. Your entire income has gone towards paying off the house. And so
Correct.
This is not a big change for you guys at all, because
no.
I guess you're essentially your new mortgage payment is as being at home and taking care of your child, which is incredible. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yes. We are celebrating by going to Florida in a week.
Awesome.
But we're going to see my grandparents because they won't see me hardly pregnant at all because of the way they're snowbirds. But we are going to go see them. But once again, we're staying with them while we're there. We're very frugal and minimalist. So we're staying with them. So it's not going to be a major expense, but it will be a fun thing for us to do.
Hey, when you live in the Midwest, Florida, doing anything is really nice in the wintertime. So
Absolutely.
Very cool. Well, Janelle, people are listening right now and they want to have a free and clear home in their future. What is one small step that they could take following this interview?
I would say talk to your spouse or anyone who is involved in your finances and come up with some short-term goals and some long-term goals that you have. A lot of our short-term goals ended up affecting our long-term goals and vice versa. We didn't hit some short-term goals because we knew we wanted to hit our long-term goals in a shorter amount of time. So coming up with those goals and having that motivation to strive for those goals that are very joint. If you do have a spouse, the joint goals provide motivation for both of you. So those definitely helped us out.
I love it. Have that communication, everybody. Start those conversations with your spouse. Maybe even if they're not super fired up about the money stuff like some of us are, maybe listening to the show, you could at least talk to them about their dreams and their goals and maybe get them fired up. And then the money comes along with it, right? So, yes. Janelle, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. This was a great conversation. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.